Hello, class, and thank you for tuning in to my presentation on Manuel's Educational Services Plan for ESE 634 Education-Based Collaborative Relationships with Dr. John Mendes. First, we will be talking about community building using communication. We would like to make sure that we contact the family weekly or bi-weekly depending on how Manuel is doing in class. We must be concise and use non-educational lingo so that the family understands what we are trying to say directly. We want to ensure that they feel included in the process, so we must allow them the opportunity to share information that is important for us to know about Manuel. We must also keep an open line of communication and have goals set for Manuel so that they can see that our expectation is success for their child as well. Also under the category for community building using communication, we want to talk about building trust with our families. We want for them to trust us with all information as it pertains to their child. What parent do you know will want to give background information on their child to someone that they do not trust? It is hard to gain trust with a family if we don't keep an open line of communication, if we don't make them feel welcome, if we use non-educational lingo that they don't understand. Oftentimes we run into these problems with families of a different culture or different language, and it makes them uncomfortable, and they typically don't want to open up to us to share information about their child. Each time that we speak to the family, we need to ensure that we have positive talking points as well as things that the child needs to work on. It does not feel good as a parent that is trying everything that you know how to do at home and never hearing any positive about your child. Is very discouraging. It can be very discouraging and disheartening when you hear this each time that you talk to someone from the school. We can reword how we present information and things to the family, and that will build a strong positive relationship because they will feel like they are not the only ones working for their child to succeed. And they will also feel like you're not just always having something negative to say, but you always have positive speaking points as well about their child. Barriers and solutions, some of the communication barriers and cultural barriers that we run in. There again, I talked about language and maybe lack of educational background under the cultural barriers. Also in the communication barriers, we sometimes aren't clear in what we expect from our families. Sometimes their schedules don't really line up with what we expect for them to be, and they can't meet every meeting or obligation that they have at the school. So we have to work with them on that. And some families aren't financially able to always purchase the resources that we need for them to have at home. We need to keep in mind that what may seem like reluctance doesn't always mean families don't want to be engaged in their child's education. Many families would like to be more involved, but some families may face significant barriers like unpredictable work schedules or immigration concerns. For other families, their past experience may make them feel that the school itself is creating barriers. And I've experienced that in a lot of the meetings. You'll hear parents say that, oh no, it's the school, oh no, it's the school. And whenever you really get them to open up to you in the, being an outside party, they'll explain to you why they feel the way that they feel. And it's from past experiences that they have. And some of them are negative and some could be miscommunication. A language barrier may deter some parents and caregivers from engaging with the school as well. Effective collaborative communication strategies. To be effective when collaborating with a teacher or communicating with a parent, you have to keep an open mind. Your mind cannot be one-sided, and you have to be willing to consider the other person's views and ideas. We have to make sure that we have an open line of communication, as we stated earlier, and that we communicate via email, face-to-face, conferencing, through documentation, through phone. Some parents even prefer contact through text, and ensure that we are always on the same sheet of music. Being willing to compromise in some areas will also help our relationship be very productive. Conflict, collaboration, and communication, the 3 C's. Those are 3 of the most important things, and 3 things that happen often within the classroom, within the school, and with the stakeholders. And we have to know how to deal with these things in the workplace. We have to know how to deal with these things in the classroom and when dealing with parents. I want to make sure that the other person feels heard on their points. I want to be an active listener. I want to be engaged in the conversation. I want to make sure that we stay on topic and focus on what is important. Oftentimes people start to the blame game, and that honestly is the worst thing that you can do when you are already in conflict with someone. So you want to try to calm the room. We always want to make sure that if we can calm the room, that we do that and not escalate the problem. We understand that we will not always agree, but we can come to a place to be agreeable, of being agreeable, sorry. So your takeaways from this slide should be: stop, think, listen carefully, and then respond. Also under this, here's the tip sheet that I've included of things that you might want to use in your classroom or with your parents. Understand the purpose of the collaboration. You want to define the goals. You want to define the roles of each person so that they know exactly what they should be doing, and they stay in their own lane and they're not trying to work outside of what their role has been defined as. We want to make sure everything is clear. Collaboration is clear. What is expected of each person is clear. What is expected of each role. We want to identify the strengths of the team. Your strength might be helping Manuel with his reading. My strength might be making sure that Manuel understands his social skills. We want to make sure that we're drawing on our strengths so that he is as successful as possible. We want to encourage being creative. Everybody has their own ideas, and we want to make sure that everybody's ideas are heard. We want to build a desire for cohesion so that we have a great working relationship, and we want to make sure that the relationships are strong. Service delivery model. I think and I believe that models of collaboration typically used in schools today include the mental health consultation model, the behavior model, and collaborative model. Each model has a separate theoretical base, goals, and responsibilities for team members. For example, in a school district where the team follows a mental health model, special educators take responsibility for gathering information about problems and then work with the teachers or students or parents to cope with, create, or implement solutions together. In a school district where the team follows a behavior perspective, special educators encourage mutual problem solving, but also act as expert consultants. Excuse me. Educators using the collaborative consultation model assume the shared ownership in solving learning and behavior problems with the general and special education educators bringing their own discipline specific competencies to the situation. And this is the particular model that I believe that we should focus on and hone in for Manuel, because this model will hone in on small groups, the necessary social skills that he needs with his peers, being able to pull on knowledge from the special education teacher as well as the general education teacher, being able to be taught in his current goals as well as grade level appropriateness. The special education teacher will support his IEP goals and support his social needs within the classroom. The special education teacher can offer insight on things that maybe the general education teacher does not know. The special education teacher can offer ideas for the lessons and also provide some expertise on instructional strategies that may help Manuel and find the learning style that will best fit his needs. These are things that the teacher can offer. These are some of the key components as we prepare to transition Manuel out into adulthood. And this is self-determination, self-advocacy, and person-centered planning. Self-advocacy is recognized as the ability to speak and act on behalf of one self or a cause. Self advocacy is an important skill that students use in their youth and throughout life. Self advocacy skills include being assertive, knowing one's right, negotiating, and speaking up for oneself or a cause. Self determination is the process of taking control and making decisions that affect one's life. Self determination provides students with these skills and abilities: making choices, making decisions, problem solving, setting and attaining goals, self advocacy, independent performance. Simply stated, or self-determination skills, those are skills needed to manage one's own life. Person-centered planning, that was the third one, and they call it PCP, is an approach to promote self-determination for individuals with disabilities. It is frequently used with students with more significant disabilities who need an alternative to traditional approaches in order to convey their strengths, preferences, interests, and needs. Okay. These are also some of the strategies for delivering those self-determination skills. And self-determination is the person's ability to control his or her own destiny. A crucial part of the concept of self-determination involves the combination of attitudes and abilities that will lead children or individuals to set goals for themselves and to take the initiative to reach these goals. We want to make sure that we drive Manuel into having that self-determination so that he wants to reach those goals. Daily living skills. Some of the examples of this is personal hygiene and grooming, dressing and undressing, meal preparation and feeding, mobility and transfer, toileting, housekeeping, laundry, and home safety. We want to make sure that Manuel is well equipped with these daily living skills. And the two goals that we set for him are operating appliances and equipment, and operating appliances and equipment for food and for clothing. His personal and social skills. Personal social skills are abilities children must develop to care for themselves: washing hands, using utensils, and interacting with others, like playing games, understanding feelings of others. Personal development is about how children understand themselves and what they can do. Occupational guidance and preparation. By age 14, a student should have a transition plan, and that's what we're trying to make sure that we have in place along with your help. Incorporated into the IEP that specifies what services the student needs to make a successful transition from high school to work and community living, what career activities the student should undertake, and who will be providing the required services. We want to make sure that Manuel knows what he wants to do, and I'm sure that that takes time. Over time, as adults ourselves, we still are trying to figure out what we want to do. And so we want to make sure that we are building him and building his goals to make sure that we're reaching what he wants to do. Your role as a parent. We want to make sure that you can identify friends, family, and community members who can provide information helpful in the transition and process, as well as assume an active role as part of the transitioning team. We want you to be a part. You serve as the primary mediators between the school and the community. It is your job as parents to help guide, encourage, and empower Manuel's role, and be an active participant within this transition process. You are essential in helping Manuel identify life and career goals and in providing opportunities to attain those goals. You serve as one of the vital pieces in Manuel's life. This concludes our presentation. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for reading along with me in this. If you have any questions, concerns about my presentation, I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.